from experience and just from how the champs go, generally speaking, this is how it goes. Level 1, level 2, they win. No questions asked. They just win. If they're human, they win. Unless like you get a W on Kaisa and you, I don't know, double flash on her, whatever.
Yeah.
They win first 3 levels. Once you guys get level 3, it starts being even / you guys are winning. Then it becomes whoever goes in first loses. If Nautilus hooks your Rakan, he gets fucking one shot. If you get hooked, obviously, sucks. But if Rakan goes in, he might be in trouble. So it's kind of just when it gets to level 3, this matchup specifically, you just trade slow pushes. So you stack a big wave, you crash it. Maybe there's a gank, maybe there's a fight, and then they do the same, and you see what you do. But after level 3, you guys have a slight advantage just because you have more wave clear and you have poke, and they don't have poke. So you have a bit of poke. They don't have poke, and if they go in on you, they lose. So you're in a slightly winning scenario. So you have losing early matchup. So they're gonna be pushing. Okay. So let's see. I want to see what you do with that. But before we continue, the second thing you need to be thinking about, again, jungle matchup. Poppy actually with this, I would say is more useful than Rek'Sai. I mean, I don't know, honestly. I don't fucking know what Poppy does. Level 3, I would say they're the same. Same type of damage. So, but you gotta be careful of Poppy level 2 ganking, I would say. Just because they have Nautilus, they can actually do some stuff. So, gotta be a bit afraid in early, but 3v3 wise, it might be fine if they, if they go on you and you guys just one-shot Nautilus and stuff. But overall, you're gonna be on farm mode a bit until third wave. And going D-Blade is correct. Wait, speed 1.5. So going D-Blade is correct. And all right, let's see. Okay. Did they late invade? I think they did.
Yeah, no. So he got invaded earlier, and that's why he acts like if I said W, I just died. But I'm telling him
Okay.
I have heal for him, etc.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a map split scenario. So when it's map split scenario like this in solo queue, and you're weak side, you really,
it's
really
vertical jungle right now. Yeah.
Yeah, so you really, 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 really need to conserve as much HP as possible. So you're doing good so far. You're getting XP. You're not touching the wave. All is fine. You're letting your jungler know as well. Now you see Poppy here. And you're just catching wave. And you guys even get a good trade. Nice. Oh, you went E. Okay.
Wait, you always go E second, no?
No, I actually go Q most of the time.
You go Q second, really?
Yeah. Because it's kind of rare to get a root off. Because usually if they're human, they just run to the right. And you don't get a root off. So that's why I always go Q. But anyways, good spacing and good trade is just that your it's classic. I'm sure it's happened to you as well when Nautilus misses hook, but it hits terrain.
Yeah, it gets reduced by 50%.
Yeah, it's half cooldown.
Yeah.
So you're like playing as if it's full cooldown, but then you get hooked again. So it's a bit unlucky that your support gets hooked. But overall, it's fine. It's a bit of a
Like she
it's a
wanted
bit of
to
a
force
chaotic.
this, but I mean, it's just bad timing. The wave I lose.
No, it's actually good. He just misplays. He shows for some reason. I think
Yeah,
they
that's
have
I
a
think
ward
she
in
I think she
Tribush.
just waits, no? Because our Rakan's level 1. So that's why I mean I think it's just forced because he's not level 1 anymore, but
I think what you should be doing here, because the wave is so big, I don't know if you could even thin it out. To be honest, I don't think you could.
I
just
don't think
want
I
to
can.
see.
I have no abilities.
No, you can't. So when it's like I said, when a wave is this big, no, there's no way you thin it out. You can hit a bit, you're hitting, but no. Okay, you can't thin it. The wave is too big, and they're gonna get level 3 on this. You need to ping this guy back. Because this is never gonna work, especially after your Rakan just used his spells. You need to just spam ping him back. This is the type of thing in solo queue where in solo queue it's really good to use pings to make calls when like maybe right now you don't know that it's not gonna work, but whenever you need to walk past a really fat fucking wave and your jungler's gonna be 1v2 against their bot lane, generally like 99% of the time it's gonna be a bad play. And especially when it's a big wave like this, Imagine it goes that bad that you woke up and they fucking, I don't know, they kill this guy and the wave crashes and you're losing like half a wave while you're fighting. It's so shit. You need to be a bit selfish in solo queue when it comes to these kind of like slow pushes or plays like that, because it looks kind of good on paper, but you know like deep down that this is a bad play, right? it's
Mm-hmm.
it's just not looking too hot. So ping him back if you think it's a bad play, you know, call it off if you can. It's fine to follow because he's already committed, so you guys get flashes and stuff. But overall, it's kind of bad. You lost cannon and like 3 middies, by the way.
Yeah,
You're
I know.
actually still you're kind of behind an XP.
That's the thing. I actually hate doing plays like that. I just he dies anyway. But you know what I mean. Like, cause
Yeah,
it's just jungle shenanigans. Usually,
you're
it
gonna
kind of
get
holds you
dove now.
hostage.
I think you're getting
Yeah,
dove,
no,
by the
that's
way.
what I was worried about. But
They don't dive you.
yeah, because Poppy went mid instead. That's why I was like, okay,
Okay.
it's fine.
Yeah. If this happens, you need to thin the wave ASAP. Like you see this happen, you still poppy. Now you need to start thinning the wave. This wave needs to be thinned. This needs to die for sure. Whenever you're under threat of like being zoned or dove, like they should really dive you here. I don't know why they're not diving you. You're not allowed to touch this wave for sure. Like even though they're low, Poppy is so fucking broken they can for sure dive you. But he's going mid for some reason, so you need to expect it. And if you thin the wave out, I think it wouldn't push that fast, and maybe you guys could maybe like this wave would not crash under turret, maybe, you know, if you thinned it out. But yeah, if
Yeah,
there's gonna
yeah.
be a big wave like that, just try to thin it out, or rather like dive. Yeesh. So they were low and you guys just one shot the wave, right? Your
Yeah.
Rakan should be checking if they freeze, because Nautilus should be freezing this, but it's fine. So you guys base together, switch the ward, perfect, okay. Now, if you want some hidden tech, okay,
Mm-hmm.
for solo queue and competitive as well, but mainly solo queue. Whenever you have a support move like this, so you just crashed your wave, it's gonna
Yeah.
slow push to you. Um, you actually want to go with your support through here instead of going bot lane, because you're gonna have to wait for your support anyway to be able to farm generally, because it's gonna be a big slow push, especially in this matchup where Nautilus has so much pressure on you, and you can die if you walk up. So generally, what's gonna happen is your Khan's gonna go through mid. He should go through mid here, take some vision or clear or whatever. Maybe even your jungler is gonna be together here. Like you're just gonna be around mid lane when you crash a wave like this, and there's a big slow push. Okay. And when you go to mid lane like this, all you're looking for is just some short play. If you can catch someone here or maybe fight mid lane a bit, it's fine. But you really don't want to take like a long ass fight or try to dive mid or do some bullshit like that. You need to be on time to catch the wave that they're gonna crash. So perfect play would be you join your support, you go through mid, you see what's happening here, and you check if Kaisa is slow pushing this, you have a bit of time. So all the time you're like looking for stuff here together with your support if there's anything to do. Sometimes there's gonna be a pink ward. Sometimes you're gonna walk here, it's gonna be enemy support and you're gonna get his flash or kill him. But it's always better for you to go through mid when the wave is crashed like this than to go straight bot, because you have no business on bot lane, you have no job. And Rakan doesn't want to go bot here. He actually wants to go mid. So you join him, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You just join him and make sure that you don't miss this wave. Because
Yeah.
sometimes
So
AD
I
carry
just
comes
walk through
back.
the. Yeah, just walk through the jungle, and then if something does happen mid, obviously I first move, confirm their ADC, right?
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But you always gotta keep an eye. Like what you're doing here is perfect, but you should be walking mid. You keep an eye out on what Kai'Sa's doing. Because usually she should be stacking like this, which is perfect. And now Rakan, like right now, Rakan should be top. Rakan is trolling right now. Like he should actually be going mid to top here. Because
Yeah.
he saw his jungler looking to invade, and he had a base timer. He could be going top to help, but he decided to go bot here, for maybe to do something. Look, even Nautilus is moving here, So in this kind of cases where you're actually 1v2, I hope you freeze this wave.
I
Oh shit.
mean,
You're gonna
normally
dive it, right? You're
I
gonna try to
do.
dive?
I don't think it's more like. Let me see. I think do we zone her off the wave?
I don't
Because
think you can. If she has
normally I
flash,
do.
there's
I would actually freeze, but I think in this situation, I don't know what we tried to do. Let me see.
I don't know if there's an angle you guys ever dive her, by the
Yeah,
way.
that's why I didn't go for the dive. But
Maybe there is, but like you see
no,
what I mean?
I think it's hard. Yeah.
If she has flash, it's really unlikely. So here, you're like you're yeah, usually yeah, you should just freeze because she would lose this whole wave for sure if you freeze here. Like you just don't touch this wave, you thin it out a bit maybe just the middies, and she would lose this plus the next wave for sure. Because Nautilus is joining the top fight, I think. Yeah. Kais is fucked here. You're gonna be so far ahead. Yeah, this was wrong. If it's not 100%, because usually with Rakan it's really easy to dive, but when she has flash and you're not 6 or your Rakan's not 6, it's not worth it. You know. Okay, I want to see what you do with the waves because you're just fast pushing all the time. Um, when you have I think your matchup is winning now. Once you get to like level 4, 3, 4, 5, especially level 6, your matchup is actually winning. So I think so wave management wise, how do you think about wave management? Like how do you decide when to push,
I
freeze, slow
mean,
push?
usually it's just based off what I would say what the jungler usually wants to do. Because like if he's not doing anything, usually I'm playing the freeze. But the only reason why I kill the wave there, I was like, can we zone her off these waves anyway and hit plates maybe or like thread and dive? Like, but then when I actually got to the dive, realizing the guy's double buffs and has some, just like, yeah, I don't really know if it's
No, no,
possible.
I
So
mean
it's kind of
for this case, like right now,
oh
like
this
why are
case.
you
Oh
pushing this?
well, I mean, I'm thinking that we to do drag. That's why. Because we have mid push, and then if we get bot push and our Rek'Sai just walks down, then Dragon is ours.
Yeah, but wait, let's see. So you're being proactive in the game, which is good, but what you're not looking at is your jungler's situation. Because your jungler's level 3 right now, and he has a blue buff coming up, and he has 2 camps. So it's actually pretty fucking bad for him to do Drake here. In the case that they contest and fuck you up. So I think the best case for you, it's really good that you look for these calls. Like it's actually really smart to look for Drake like this. But you also gotta think that you should call it, like you should ping it, but you need to check if it's good for your jungler first of all, and you need to see if your jungler is following. Or like you ping it, and if your jungler also pings it, you follow. But you never want to be like forcing dragons when the jungler doesn't want to do it. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
respectfully, a lot of junglers don't really like doing objectives, I'm not even gonna lie. But I do know what you mean. Because I always thought it was like, isn't Rek'Sai like a spam gank jungler? Like, she didn't really care about farm. But I understand what you mean. Like, she
Yeah,
is
he
kind of
is, but he
underleveled.
got fucked early from the late invade, so he needs to catch up. And the thing is that because you also got to consider, it's good that you're calling for this, but you also got to consider that the only time that Drake doing Drake works with Prio is if Drake has started right now. If Drake stays on the Drake right now, this is a really fucking good play. Because you guys would finish it by the time they cleared this wave, and by the time this wave is cleared as well, you know. Because you just pushed it. But you actually are gonna end up fighting like 4v4 or 3v3 around Drake because you guys are not going to be able to finish it by the time that they clear these waves, slowly check the river, and see that you're on Drake. So it's just going to be you guys are tanking Drake when your Rek'Sai is already low. So you guys are going to be low, and they're going to be on time for the Drake. So you're actually playing with no tempo. And the only reason is because your jungler is not on it yet. So this is a really good play if your jungler can do it and he's on it right now. Okay? So I get it that junglers are noobs and they don't do objectives, so you're trying to fix that issue. Really fucking good. That's gonna win you games, but you gotta do it a bit more smart. You gotta do it with slow pushes. Okay? Because if you stack this wave plus the next one, that's gonna be a much better Drake play for your jungler and you as well, because you're gonna have a bigger wave. I mean, you win your matchup, so you can push whenever you want right now. And no one's in lane, so you don't really have the opportunity to push. I mean, you don't have a reason to push. So if you slow push this and you ping Drake and you ping this wave, or you just ping Drake and you see what your jungler does, it's much better than fast pushing like this and like kind of forcing your jungler to, you know, skip a camp and stuff like that when it's not so free this early in the game, you know. You know what I'm trying to say? Imagine you slow push this wave instead of fast pushing. Right now, you would be slow pushing. The wave would still be in the middle, chilling. Xayah would be doing blue buff. He would be finishing. And once he finishes blue buff, you guys are gonna one-shot this wave. Maybe even with Xayah cover. And then it's a cannon. So it's even better that it's a cannon wave. I'm pretty sure it's a cannon wave. Is it a cannon wave? Yeah, it is a cannon wave. So it's a cannon wave. So you would prefer to do these plays on a cannon wave anyway, because it takes longer for them to clear it. And you would have a stack, so Kai'Sa would have lost some minions because she was a bit late. Plus, you would have a bigger wave, and it's much better situation for your jungler. And if you can't do Drake, then it's fine. You can just get vision and, you know, look for gank or whatever, but you don't need to force stuff like this, because it can fuck your jungler up sometimes. Okay?
Yeah,
Do you
okay.
agree or not?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize you're actually looking for a response.
Yeah, so that's the main thing about wave management is like, so the way I
So
would
the play here is just like you just like slow push, stack a wave, and then crash and reset because she's gonna use
yeah,
top side anyway.
and the way the reason to do it is, so I always tell people to, and I do it myself, is to, if there's nothing happening and you don't need to base, you always slow push. Like, this slow push should be the default play. Okay, that should be your default play for wave management. You always slow push, and then the decision making comes. Now, fast pushing is for making plays or resetting. Okay, right now, if your play is to do dragon, right? So it's fine, but you can't really do it without risking stuff. It's not a bad call, but if enemy is good, they're just gonna stop you. So there's not a play happening here. You're kind of forcing it. So if there's no play that's happening right now or is gonna happen in the next few seconds, then you don't fast push. You just keep stacking. The only reason you need to fast push is if you guys are gonna dive, you guys are doing dragon or are gonna do it in the next few seconds, or you need to reset, or obviously invade as well. But like, fast pushing is for a play. You push and you do something immediately. You join a fight, you invade, you dive, you reset. Has to be a reason, you know. You have your reason here, but I just explained that it's like kind of shitty for your jungler, not a really good spot. So yeah. The third thing, freezing. I think you froze this game one time, but the thought process for freezing is that maybe I can find an example so it's better. Is there an example where you freeze? You were trying to freeze one of the. I think it's here that you could freeze, no? Yeah, here you
No,
can
yeah,
freeze.
here.
So so freezing is an aggressive play. Freezing
Really?
is not like protection. Freezing, you're not safe by freezing.
Well, I
Maybe
mean,
if
I
you're in
guess
like,
it's like you're trying to force them to walk up so you can make a play, but like technically it is like protection. If you really think about it.
kinda. It's like, it's protection that you're close to your turret, but it gives enemy the power to just push your wave and do something. You know what I mean? So it's like, waves are what make plays happen, not champs in a way. If you think about it. So if you freeze and they have mid lane move plus jungler bot side, they just dive you on the next wave. You remember this? Oh, actually, I remember this one. I think here. I think it's this freeze where Rek'Sai dies. So now you're freezing, right?
Yeah.
And this is because you know, you guys just do the trade and you're denying Kaisa some minions because Rek'Sai is bot side. But actually, your Rek'Sai wants crab. Obviously, this guy is fucking trolling here to ever go for this bot crab, especially when you guys are freezing. But this is what I mean. Now, you're making an aggressive play here. This is an aggressive play. You are actively denying them creeps, and you're forcing Kaisa to make a decision to either go bot or to do something like jungle or river and then come back bot. Your jungler is also making an aggressive play by going for this crab. So that's why both of them cannot work. You can't freeze and go crab when everyone's alive. This just doesn't work. And now you're still doing the aggressive play. You're freezing. But you're losing here. You're losing 2v2 and your jungler's dead and enemy bot side. An enemy jungler is bot side. This is like super bad freeze. Because they can do whatever the fuck they want. They can crash this, they can push this in and invade your jungler. Well, they already took the camps, but I'm just saying they can push this in plus invade. They can push this in plus dive. They can push this in and get a free reset. They can literally get a free reset. Just like that. They get a free reset here. Just because of this wave state. They push this in and they don't even need to care about the next wave. Because their junglers around bot, they can even cheese you in bush. If Poppy doesn't show here, you know, they can dive you, they can cheese you after. You can't push this next wave in. You're in a bad spot. That's why I wanted you to thin it. Because you can't be freezing when you're losing. And they have jungler around. Okay, that's what I mean by freezing is an aggressive play. You have to have reasons to do it. You can't just freeze because like the only defensive option I can see for freezing is if you're playing like I don't know like Sona into Nautilus and you really want the wave to be like here so you don't die all the time, you know. Then I can see it as a
If we're
defensive play.
playing and like someone's on my side, I'm like, I wouldn't we be freezing so we can just permakill someone if we have the Nautilus?
No, you can. So that's the second
Oh,
like,
okay,
that's the second part. That's what I mean by freezing is an aggressive play. So you freeze two. First of all, first reason to freeze is enemy AD carry took a bad base. You know, your support throws the wave, whatever. She's fucked in tempo. And you just freeze for one wave to deny her CS. And then you build a stack. You build a slow push, okay? That's a decent freeze. Second freeze is you guys have like river control, your jungler's bot, you have Nautilus, Leona, fucking Thresh, whatever, and you're setting up for a gank where the enemy jungler cannot be there. So you're setting up for like a 2v3. That's a good freeze. The other good freeze is if you're so hard winning in your 2v2, like you play Kalista Thresh into Ezreal Sona or whatever, and they cannot walk up, then you freeze forever if you want. But in that case, actually, it's better to stack and dive them because you get more. Because when you freeze, you don't get plates. But anyway, that's a separate topic. So they're all aggressive plays. The only defensive play is if you're playing a super losing matchup, like range versus melee, and they can all in you all the time. If you get the chance to keep the wave here, then you're or like if you're on enemy team, you know, to keep the wave on your side, then you're chilling, and just like farming as much as you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So that's it for wave management overall. Let's see the game. I want to see what's happening. Because there's so there's you actually get the dragon, so it's good. Okay, now. Let's see what's happening with the wave here. You just did Drake. Why do you fast push this? Did we see Nautilus somewhere? No, we didn't.
Yeah, well, I guess we saw reset bot briefly. Was that he was recalling the bot?
No, he was bot, but he didn't reset. I think like Nautilus could be bot here.
Was that
So
not
why are you fast pushing? You know.
Oh.
To Zoe has move to dive, I guess, but you can't because Nautilus here. You see what I mean by fast pushing? Like there's no play here.
Yeah,
you
no,
fast push, but there's no play. So this is the type of stuff. So look, okay, easy way to have more opportunities to like dive and fight and be more ahead in CS in lane in solo queue is whenever this happens, whenever there's a wave crashed under your turret, you want to last hit as slow as possible. Okay?
Yeah.
So you want the tower to be like the last tower shots. Well, I'll show you if there's a good example
Yeah,
here.
no, I know what you mean. It's like where
Y-
it does like an extra. Like I would let the tower try to hit that one again,
Yeah, now
and then
you would let this tower hit it again and then hit it, you know? So you want to
yeah,
last hit as slow as possible for the wave, for enemy wave to be as far up as possible. Obviously, without letting it crash under your turret. So you try to not
yeah,
overdo it, you know? But you want to keep the wave here and build a big fucking slow push. So anytime you get this opportunity, enemy crashes a wave, and you can get a slow push, always do it. That's the way you're gonna get like every single slow push, you get ahead like 4 or 5 CS if the enemy AD carry keeps fast pushing after, you know? Because how it works is you slow push, so they lose CS slowly, you crash it. Then enemy AD carry slow pushes. You lose CS slowly, then he crashes. If you break the cycle, like either one of you, then the other one's gonna be ahead in CS, you know? Or like then you're gonna be ahead in CS. So you always want to slow push. And your slow pushes are gonna be the things that you can make plays around. If your jungler or your mid laner or even your support sees a fat fucking wave here, or like in the middle of the wave, then that's like telltale. I don't fucking know how to say that. It's a sign that you can do stuff on bot, or you can do Drake, and it's also your protection in case that you can get ganked and stuff. Because ganking a 2 or 3 wave stack is fucking impossible, you know. So I think that might be a bad habit you have of just like mindlessly pushing and not setting up plays. Because here, like, yeah, you guys have push, but Nautilus is here. There's no way you dive, and it's not even good for your mid laner to do this, because she loses mid prior now, and there's Herald up. Like she's trolling here. Like I don't know what this is. You guys are, I don't know, just looking for support. Like this is super bad. I don't know. Nautilus just trolls, but this is super bad. If enemy were human, you guys lose. Like your mid laner is dropping a cannon wave, plus Herald here with this move. Okay.
yeah.
Imagine you were slow pushing right now, and your mid laner pushed this wave instead, and you play on the big wave. You know, it's much better situation than just pushing one. What the fuck is even going on, man? Why is Poppy bot? Okay, wait. I wanna see if you're. So you don't want to give it away here, right? That's why you're not spacing close.
Yeah. I mean, since she's already here, I mean, maybe I'm assuming she's gonna eat through the wall. She does. I mean, kind of hit. I mean, it misses, but you know, it makes him flash. So
Yeah. Okay. So you were just waiting to bait. Yeah. Okay. And you ruled. It was good. It was good. I just wanted to see if you were like intentionally not following Rakan, like not being close to Rakan, or just like not aware of what's gonna happen. So I want to see what's popping here. Oh my Jesus! What is your Zoe doing, bro? Okay. You're smurfing on some loops here, I think.
I
I
mean,
think you played this really fucking good. Honestly, I wouldn't play it different. I think your Zoe is trolling, so
yeah, I'm not entirely sure about that, but I just wanted
yeah.
to get my wave crashed in, so I walked up to make sure it didn't hold.
Oh
Yeah, I messed
shit!
up, but it happens.
Oh shit! That's
Oh,
okay.
actually, I didn't realize I stopped my base, and then he's trolling, but I trolled, so because he should have died there. That's the saddest part. But I know he has no cooldown, so like I physically say this, like I know he has no cooldown, so it's like I'm just beelining. Whereas like, well, it's not like no, like I just know I don't die. If that makes sense. It's weird.
Yeah, no. This
Yeah.
this is this is
Okay.
a really good play. I will do the same. I think you're
Yeah.
playing correct here. This is really good play. Playing on the edge is really good. So far you're doing good except the wave management. Now here let's see if you're doing it. This one you can't. Like I wanna see if you can. So you kill this minion for no reason. You don't wait for this one.
Well, oh well. Yeah, I guess. I
Yeah,
was
you
gonna
know what I
say for
mean?
that first mini, I had to hit initially to even it out, and but then it
Y-
was kind of offset. I don't know.
So here you're pushing again a bit, but now you stop. So you autoed like a couple of times. Like even one auto makes such a big difference in the way the wave pushes and how fast it pushes. Like here, if you don't auto at all, these midis would probably be dead. I think, even though your minions are a bit ahead in like strength. But now because you overpush, you're like kind of you're really strong, but you're kind of like a bit overextending. Even though nothing really can happen, it's just like not the best spot for you to be in. It's much better if you just keep stacking as much as you can, because your jungler has camps to do as well. And as you stack, he does camps, and when his camps are down, like if you're stacking, like you keep stacking, and then you see your jungler did gromp and he's walking to invade, that's your cue to fast push and join. Okay? Or like
Yeah.
go hit plates. You always want to be syncing your waves around what your team wants to do and play. You don't just want to push all the time. This is fine that you get a plate here, but or do you get? I think you get it, yeah.
Yeah, I get the point. You just shared,
But you're so
unfortunately.
far ahead here, so when you're this far ahead, by the way, I want you to realize that when you're so far ahead in lane that you win 2v2, they can't even farm. Pushing, like fast pushing like this, is actually really illegal that Kaisa gets this farm. She should be losing this farm. If Kaisa is gonna be getting farm, she should be losing something for it. Either HP, either plates, either camps, or getting dove. You don't want, when you're this far ahead, you never want enemy AD carry to be farming for free. That's why you never fast push for no reason. Because you can punish when she's in the lane, so she's not gonna walk up. She's just gonna lose the minions as it slow pushes. But when it's on the turret, she just farms it for free, just like that. When you're so far ahead. Mm, there's a lot of like missed spells here, like Rakan missing W and shit. I don't even know what's going on. I guess he okay. I mean, it's fine. I don't know. I think the best case scenario is you ulting early here
Yeah, this is
and
no fault.
like always ulting Nautilus ults and then one shotting him after, because I don't think he has flash. I'm not sure. But yeah, this
No,
is,
he does. I don't think he has flash either.
yeah. So you could just focus fully on the Nautilus there. But yeah, I think I don't know. I don't know what you should do here. It's just a bit after you ult late. It's a bit hard to get much out of it. How the fuck do you kill Kaisa, bro? Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. Actually, you're playing like you're mechanically you're playing really good. I think overall, it's like spacing and knowing when people are gonna die and stuff. So far, so you stay for the plate plus the next wave. I think that's correct. Your Rakan sets space for you. Perfect. Buying items, going mid. Okay, good. So yeah, so far just overall wave management. I think you can punish a lot more and have way better opportunities in this game and also in I think a lot of your games. Because do you also feel that you fast push too much?
No, I
Like now
think
that
yeah. I don't know. Randomly, this game, I don't know why I was fast pushing so much. Like, I guess I wanted to like actually try to do a bunch of stuff, but like I need to
yeah,
realize that there's actually nothing I could do, and just slow pushing is a better thing. I think it's like
yeah,
a habit. I used to like freeze and slow push all the time. I think it's only in competitive I like usually I'm slow pushing almost too much, where I'm just missing opportunities when I actually do need a fast push. Like whether we're actually looking to dive, it just wasn't really called like clearly,
yeah,
or it's something where my support needs to like reset. Like Scott's trying to reset, and he's like, "Yo, can we need to crash this wave in?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
yeah, yeah.
So
So it's always better to be slow pushing too much than fast pushing too much. Because slow pushing gives you opportunities and protection, while fast pushing doesn't really do anything. So if you slow push too much, like you're maybe gonna be in some weird spots every now and then, but the risks are way lower than fast pushing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
um, just overall. But yeah, I think that's kind of the main thing for laning. Trading wise, I think you're doing good. You're keeping track of your support and stuff. But we already went through it in the competitive review. And when it gets to mid game like this, obviously, if plates are up and you take this turret, you should be going top lane. Generally speaking, if plates are up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you do this often? Does it happen a lot in your
Oh,
games, or do you
well,
usually
no, yeah.
just
Usually we're swapping to go, like, if plates are still up, yeah, we're swapping going top, but usually
yeah?
I
That's
think it's the
that's
only
good
reason
then.
why I did this because I checked early on I pressed tab and was checking the matchup top to see if it was actually fun for him. Usually top laners wouldn't mind, like, if someone else has a bad matchup, then I would be more inclined to swap with them than a guy who then like go into a different lane. Like in this case, let's say my top laner is hard winning, right? He
Yeah,
would prefer probably staying that lane with the tower he has, so it's just a normal laning for him. Whereas my mid laners are
yeah,
probably struggling, so I would swap with them because they
yeah,
kind of don't want to be in this lane matchup anymore, right? Or at least in it,
yeah.
like
That's
where at
good.
least they can get some like shove and just dip, do something else.
Yeah, that's correct thought process for swapping. Like looking at the matchups and everything, but also like sometimes when your top laner is winning, uh, I mean, unless it's like, I guess Fiora, I'm not even Fiora. If it's something like Cannon versus an Ornn, or like some super squishy champ versus a full tank, then it's really bad for you to swap if you're on the squishy champ side. But as long as you have a bruiser or a tanky champ, and you're confident that you can get plates because you're ahead in tempo and stuff, it's always better for you to be top, even if you're gonna like get him out of his good matchup, because you can get way more than he can once it gets to this point of the game. Because top lane eventually just becomes both top laners one-shotting wave, and they're just looking at each other.
Yeah.
Um, so it's good that you're thinking about the matchups and who to like bail out. But if the plates are up and you can get plates, just try to swap top for sure. As long as you don't have a super squishy top laner, as long as it's a bruiser or tank, just swap. But the thought process for this swap is, if you can safely hit the turret, it's really good. But you also gotta be really, really like careful to not 2v2 their top jungle unless you win 100%. Because usually what happens is AD would be like, I don't know, fucking Jinx or whatever, mega fed, taking this turret, going top, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so strong. I'm gonna hit this turret." And then enemy top laner and jungler just 2v2s you with your support, and you just can't do anything about it because their champs are just too broken.
They
You know what
only
I
have
mean?
level advantage. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, at least the
exactly.
top lane has level advantage. Yeah.
So you don't really think about this stuff, but like, if you're going to be swapping and you're ahead like that, you really need to be careful to not take these losing 2v2s. Even sometimes this fucking support will come and 2v3 you. So you need to be like, if you go top like that and you're strong, but you're still afraid of like top jungle 2v2, sometimes even the top laner stays in fucking alcove and their bot lane comes and you get cheesed. You need to be aware of all these cheeses and like potential fights and think about it. So you go top, you push the wave in, and if you don't have vision, you don't even fucking walk up. You just go with your support, like, I don't know, through mid lane or something like this, or through river, just get some vision, help out your mid, help out your jungle, and then you go back to top lane with vision. Then you can push up, check these bushes, you can hit the tower, but you gotta take it really slow. Because if you play it too fast and you die and you lose your shutdown, you're fucked afterwards. So
That
that's
makes
uh
sense.
that's the main thing for like swapping for top lane. That's the only things that you kind of need to be thinking about. But yeah, once it gets to mid game, it's pretty much all you have to be thinking about is mid waves and following your jungle and support. So in this case, this is the perfect example. So what I how do you think about like every single mid wave in mid game? Do you actually like make a decision on what to do with it, or do you
Usually
just play
it's
by
like
feeling?
no, no. So like if there's, I always, it's like the priorities usually like objectives, like obviously in dragons up in this case. So we shove to get vision with Rakan and jungle. Then next wave we play on because Rek'Sai, depending on, I mean, if Rek'Sai wants to do dragon, then she'll be pathing to her wolves down the drag. I mean, if she wants to do her camps, which is probably in truth better for her,
Yeah.
then yeah, then it's usually just we're shoving to get vision. Then I'm shoving to just move with Rakan if he wants to make a play. Cause I mean that's usually what I'm doing. Like I'm usually shoving and then moving with support.
how do you decide when you should be shoving and when you can't shove it?
Um, I guess depending on like I guess usually jungle and support movement.
Like enemies or yours?
I don't know. Yeah, mine.
Okay. So that's the main thing that I
Wait, is this someone bot? I can't really see. There's a timer up
yeah, it's
there.
Kaisa, yeah. It's
Oh,
Kaisa on bot
Kai'Sa's
lane.
on. Oh,
So
okay, yeah.
so this is a good example of what to do when you know 100% that this wave is yours. So the way I think about it is the wave is either yours or enemies or contested obviously, but when the wave is yours, by what I mean by yours or enemies, this wave belongs to you because you know just from map tempo and what we just watched that no one can be here. No one can stop you from pushing this wave. No one can go on you. There's literally no threat on you. So you can walk up as far as you can, one shot this wave, and do what you want. Okay. Um, what I want you to be thinking about, what ADs should be thinking about, is once it gets to like 14, 15 minutes, plates fall, you go mid lane. Your job as AD carry is to be deciding what to do on every single midwave. Every single midwave, you need to look at the map, look at your team, look at enemy team, or where they are, or like where they can be, and decide whether you're walking up for the wave, or you're gonna drop the wave and just sit under your turret and wait for it. And like if you're gonna play it safe, stuff like that. Obviously, if there's an objective and your team wants you to push and stuff, then you do it. But like you need to always check how many numbers they can have on the midwave. Right now they have 0. Just from tempo and the map state that literally no one can be like maybe one person can be mid, but you don't give a fuck about that. But also only Rakan is here. So that's the reason you're 2 people versus kind of like 0 on mid lane. So you can do whatever the fuck on this mid wave. But I want to see a situation where is this game like a complete stomp or something? I want to see a situation where the mid wave is not yours and you get punished for it. So this one, for example, this is a really good example of what you should be doing when the wave is not yours. Your team is dead, and maybe you're just doing this by feeding, but this is a really fucking good play. So your team
No.
is dead.
Usually I try to do like camps and stuff like during downtime. So like
Yeah,
Krugs or
that's
Bomb.
perfect. That's really good. That's exactly what I was gonna tell you. But you need to have the. If you're doing this by feeding, it's really good. But I'm giving you the thought process now, so you can make the decisions all the time, so you're more consistent on it. So your team is dead. This
Yeah.
midwave, they can literally be 3, 4 on it. They can be 4 on this midwave, and you just saw your team die. So they can either play for mid turret or herald or both even. So all you need to do when the wave is not yours, so it's enemy's wave like this, is to catch it. So you still need to be on time for the wave. You don't just drop it unless they can dive you. If they can dive you, obviously drop it. But generally speaking, when the wave is not yours, you want to catch it, preferably just outside of tower, but you want to be on time for when it's crashing to clear it. Your job is to clear that wave safely. You don't want to be losing ults. You don't want to be walking up on mid lane. Like, for example, here, imagine you walk up on mid, like here, for the next wave right now. Your team is fucking dead, and you're like, oh, they're gonna be doing Herald. I'm gonna walk up and push this wave. And you just walk up here, and you lose your ults or you die and stuff like that. Because it happens a lot to a lot of ADs where they literally just die here on the mid wave because they weren't aware that it's not your wave. So you need to be deciding every single time. Now you do it by feeding, but now you're like, oh, okay, my team is dead. I have no business. This mid wave is not mine. Perfect. Now downtime. 2 options: farm, base. That's it. That's all there is to it. You just farm it. I mean, you can maybe look for some wards or maybe go bot lane if you have time. If you really don't think they're gonna do anything with this, but generally speaking, you don't want to be too far away from mid because you always need to be on time to catch the wave. Kais is actually trolling right now. She should be pushing this wave. They should be zoning you from this wave because they don't need 4 people for a herald. They need 1 or 2. So they can even take mid tower here if they were good. Okay, so that's the thought process for mid waves, and that's gonna be mainly what you think about in mid game, is keeping your farm up. So just doing camps in downtime, or while you're walking, from base and stuff, and being on time for mid waves. If it's your wave, if you want to contest it, you want to be there together with your wave, or maybe even earlier. You want to be first. If it's not
Yeah.
your wave, you want to be catching safely. Never waste cooldowns, never waste flash, never waste anything for a wave that is not yours. Now, if the wave is contested, that's usually gonna happen around Drake timers. Let's see if I can find one. If I can find a situation where it's like Drake or Baron timer, I think this is not really the case. Your team is fighting. But yeah, well, I'll just do the theory or like the concept, and I'll look at this fight because next step in the review is team fighting. So
I think I played this fight like pretty back. I was a bit confused from the start. I was like, I don't know. You'll see it. Like I kind of like I don't even know why we're in this situation in the first place. What?
yeah, I mean your team is trolling for sure, but let's see, maybe you
GM
can
Rakan,
carry
by
it.
the
So
way. No.
sorry.
I was just talking about this like GM Rakan, by the way. But chill.
Oh, okay,
I know it's
okay. So
questionable
yeah,
nowadays.
so if you know what to do if the wave is yours, you know what to do if the wave is not yours. Now, if the wave is contested, let's say your team is around, but also their team is around. So it's gonna be usually gonna be happening just before objectives, like 30 seconds, or when the objectives spawn, or when people want to play for Drake, Herald, whatever, or Baron. There's gonna be kind of like a soft team fight around mid. So you need to just treat it as a team fight. Like if the wave's here, you focus on the wave. But if you see that your team is not building you space, if they're gonna try and zone you from the wave and stuff, it's fine. You just adapt. But contested waves, you just treat it as a team fight. So you don't need to like hyper focus on the wave or stuff like that. Just check where your team is, see how many people there are. Sometimes, like the main thing you need to look out for numbers is like moves from side lane and where your team is. If someone's in base or your jungler's doing camps, sometimes there's gonna be mid waves where you think it's yours because you have 4 people around, but they actually have a move from side lane. Like your top laner is stuck here with no TP, and they move from bot to mid, and it's 5v4 for them. So you're like, oh, it's my wave, and you walk up, you push up, and they go on you, because you didn't account for the side laner. So you always gotta be thinking about numbers, especially from side. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, now let's see the fight. All right. What the fuck happened to that Kaisa? Okay, so I'm not sure if you should be ulting early. I think it's fine to not ult early. The only big issue I see in this fight so far is that you E way too early. Like you're spacing and mechanically you're playing it really fucking good, but you E really early at the start of the fight. I don't know. I think afterwards it was pretty decent, to be honest. But yeah, no. I mean, I don't know what you should do here. You could have this Nautilus should be dead here. Here, if you keep your E and you just keep autoing, this guy's dead. Like he's dead right now. He's dead. Like
Yeah.
already. All these autos are like you would actually keep your ult here if you eat later, because you wouldn't have to ult here. I mean, technically your ult is a waste, but overall, I think
Yeah, she didn't need all anyway. 'Cause I
your
thought she would.
is
She had E angle, but never mind.
yeah. I mean, it's alright now. Now you have flash. I want to see how you play this fight now. That's a good E now. This is a good E, because you want to CC him as much as possible. I want to see what happens now. Now you have no ult for 15 seconds and your team is fighting. Is there a way you can actually... I think when it's a situation like this, by the way, so for shot calling wise, whenever there's going to be a fight and you have maybe 30 seconds or 20 or like 30-20 seconds to your flash or your ult, just like the competitive thing, spam ping
Mhm.
it. Spam ping that your ult, or say play slow or wait. Like I think on my stream yesterday, I was spamming in all caps, copy paste, wait, because I had flash in 10 seconds. And there was a Baron fight that my team wanted to
I
take,
mean, I think we just have to get the dragon then, because my ult's in 37. I know Rek'Sai knows I have no ulti. Like she pinged it before. Like it was
Yeah,
established I have
but
no ult.
like,
Yeah.
but you know, like if just one person pinging it once is okay, but you need to be like it's your job to spam ping
Yeah.
that is down. And the thing is that your team is not gonna just like go base. They're gonna play with them. Or maybe they don't even listen to you, but you're doing your job. If you have ult coming up soon like this against a team comp where you really, really need ult to even play the fight or flash, you need to be playing around it. You need to spam ping it. And if you do it and your team still takes the fight, then it's fine. You just follow. You did your job. You just follow, but you follow a bit safer. Positioning wise, the way you approach it is correct. You approach it where most likely the fight's gonna be, and you're gonna be safe. You don't go this way. Some people go this way. It's really good, positioning wise. Spacing correct. Waiting for Zoe to bait stuff. Good E. And now you have ult in 20. Don't chase. Ping back. You don't want to fight. Your Rakan just use ult. If you want to fight, you just do the Drake here and let them come into you. But you don't want to be on the aggressive right now. You want to wait a bit. But your Xayah is trolling because no one's pinging back. And now because you don't have ults and you weren't aware of Yona, you die, I guess.
Yeah.
He was just cheesing in the bush, right? You didn't see him, yeah. So, oh, you saw him now, but yeah, it's a bit hard to react. But you see what I mean by you. It's a bit like iffy to chase in here, and also so for team fights, it's kind of the same concept as the competitive thing where you look at the threats, you look at what your team wants to do, and stuff like this. But when they have champs like Kennen, Kiana, Talon, Yone, any flanker champs, if you didn't see them so far, you need to keep an account of that. He's not top lane. He's not on bot wave. He's not here. So where is he? He's not on mid either because you have visions. Where can he be? You know? You always have to consider where each of the champions are. Now you know where 3 of them are. You know Kaisa, Poppy. You literally saw him for a split second, but you can't really see that in game. So you see all 3 of them. You don't even know where Gragas is. So the only possible spot where they can be is here. So when you don't see Yone, you actually need to be aware of it, you know. And this is especially true for champs like Kiana, Talon, and stuff like that always want to flank. Because here you're like, you completely forgot about Gragas, completely forgot about Yone. And you're just playing as if it's a 3v2.
Yeah.
Right?
That's correct.
Yeah. You play it well, honestly, but like I said, imagine you have ult here. You don't even need to flash, you just ult here. I mean, you might need to still flash, but yeah, it's like these are the kind of fights where if you're just a bit patient and you call it off or you just play a bit safe yourself, your team most likely will follow. And if they don't, it's fine, you know. But you still did your job. It's always better to wait for stuff. If they start dragging and it looks like a good fight, it's fine. But yeah, you get the gist of it, you know. You want to maximize your chances to win fights as AD carry. Yeah, your Nasus is doing some hero plays. So let's see what happens later on into the game. Taking camps. Okay, let's see. So midwave is not yours, correct? And now this is the time where they might have an angle to dive you, so you're pinging. Actually, you're doing really fucking good with your pings. To make calls and get people to help you. Like I did a lot of coachings where people just don't ping at all, and they expect their team to help
Yeah,
them.
that's something that kind of gets me. I don't know how people could play the game and not ping at all. It's weird.
Yeah.
Especially when they
So
don't ping
it's
sums. That's something I get on like even my collegiate team by. Like pinging sums just helps me because even if you don't like physically type it out and time it, I
yeah
can mentally just do the math for it, right? And that's the stuff I need to know.
yeah
So
yeah. So it's really good to what you're doing now. Let's see this fight. Nautilus not having a good game. Okay, so it's good. So far, so good. Let's see what's happening more. I think they're just gonna give this, no? They're gonna fight it. Okay. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Rek'Sai leaving the pit. Yeah, I don't know. And here's a situation where
I
I'm
mean,
like, I kind of have to finish it, right? Because
yeah, no,
like,
you played it perfectly. You played it perfectly right. There's not really much you should do here. I think you played this right for sure. Right now, Baron push. You guys end here?
yeah,
Let's see.
we end because actually I don't know how we end. I think we just did. I don't know.
I
We'll
think
double check.
you just like outplay them or something. Let's see.
Maybe.
Nice ult. Well, the game is over. Okay, so overall from this game, you're not managing your waves properly because you're over pushing. You're just fast pushing for fun. You're doing really fucking good calling plays and making plays and mechanically overall playing. The only thing is that you gotta consider your jungler's position sometimes and like what he wants to do. You can't just expect him to drop everything to do Drake and stuff like that. Um, and also to be aware that freezing might put you in some really rough spots, especially when their junglers are on bot. So you need to kind of. It's fine to freeze or like hold the wave here, but just like thin it out so it becomes a slow push instead of a freeze, and then you can either play on it or use it to base and stuff like that. But overall, I think the only like big issue I see is wave management from this game, bro. The rest you're doing good. Like you're mechanically playing good. Yeah, sometimes you can ult a bit better, or also in team fights to always think about where each single member can be, especially when it's flankers, to never lose track and like end up in a position like that. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hopefully it was useful. This one for you. Let me know what you think or if you have any questions, bro.
Yeah, I think it was pretty much just like I'd say just in a game like this, I feel like well, I guess it was a 25-minute game, so I shouldn't feel that long, but I just run into a habit of like winning lane and then it's like how do I transition that to the rest of the map? I mean, I think about the other games that have similar cases, but it's not really like much of a team fight phase. It's much of like I'm still in laning phase, so like from that part, it's I'm either A starting to like have to like stack CS or gain dove, or B it's like the enemy team's just playing like not really away from me, but it's like they're playing in like awkward angles, like we're getting picked off and stuff. So there's not really any fights now that I think about it. So
Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
if you're having trouble like pushing your lead before like plays fall and stuff, it is most likely just wave management, I would say. Because that's the only thing, like once early game passes, waves are the only thing that will allow you to make plays unless you like if you look for like really good like 2v2 plays with level 6 or jungle ganks and stuff like that, but still you need to have the waves set up for that so you can get way more. Because if you have a slow push, you get way more plates than if you just have 2 minions or a dead wave. So just keep an eye out for that, bro. But yeah, overall I think you're playing good. You just need to probably just play a bit more games um at full focus. Just keep spamming Xayah. What do you usually play in solo queue?
Oh, I mean, oddly enough, I usually just play what's actually good with the draft. From my point of view, this game was kind of free because I think it was like R3/4 Xayah, and they
Yeah,
kind of already commit things like I forgot
yeah, like
what they
Not
picked.
and Gragas
Yeah,
and
they
Poppy
they
and
picked a
stuff like
bunch
that,
of
probably.
dog champs that was just kind of like Exodia, right?
Yeah,
But I think what I actually thought of after I'm probably gonna take the break from my main account. I want to just play like 5 champs, so I'm not like really champion Ocean and solo queue just on the Smurf because, and plus all 5 of the champs are like I would say relatively in meta. Ezreal's just one I want to play because one he got buffs, I want to try him out too.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Two, I just found like a pretty fun champ, and he's kind of completely different from the other champs I have like on the list, which would be Aphelios, Jinx, Zeri, and Xayah. Um, and then I might
Yeah,
do.
That's good enough. I would personally take out the Felios just because I think this champ is shit in solo queue. But
So, well,
if
that's
you
the
can make
thing.
it,
That's actually the thing about. So that's another thing I thought too. But it's so weird to me. And if you want to discuss it for a bit too, like I really found him bad in solo queue, but he actually has the highest pick rate I've seen him since like on release of like
is
in
it?
NA at least. It's like well, actually no, it's World apparently. World right now is like a 15% pick rate, and like homies are actually picking him a ton. I'm not gonna lie. So
Pick rate 9%. That's
well,
global.
well, you got well. I put like Masters Plus. I mean, obviously, no one you're not gonna see Affiliates in like Platinum. That's real.
Oh wait, where the fuck can I?
Masters
Gold on
Plus
rank
is like
iron.
Iron. What?
Master Plus.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you see what I mean? So
Iron.
like, it's just
uh,
like that's what I mean. Like I literally see him every game. People are actually playing him. And if that's actually happening, and I played him one game. I realized, wait, he actually does feel kind of good, especially because a lot of people are abusing his like caliber much more, which is weird. Come like you could just play. It's like Caitlyn, no, but it's like I think it's because just the power curves. Plus everyone's like playing him into Jinx, so they're probably practicing that matchup and realizing like, oh, it's actually not as bad
yeah,
as it seems.
it's
And then he
alright
does
into Jinx. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, and it's like fine to Xayah because people try to go like Xayah Rakan, and if you get a Thrush, right, so then you're just gonna have you're winning that matchup. So I think that's why he's being picked more, and like I said, he's if not my best champ, one of my favorite champs. So like it just works for me, right?
Okay.
Like
Yeah, if it
I
works, it's fine. Honestly, I'm like kind of a Farius LTP in competitive and everything, but I really dislike
yeah,
this champ solo queue. He always has like low win rate, and I feel
I know what
I
you mean,
feel the
but
gap.
I think it's just a power curve. I think it's like a lot of people still don't know what he does. Most people don't play him. Like it's like I wouldn't say Draven, for example, has a high win rate, but it's like usually you'll see like one tricks or like people that somewhat know how to
Yeah,
play him, and he's just that strong. That's why he never
yeah,
gets nerfed. But it's like I feel in this case, it's like they're never like I would say if Felix got a base stats buff, he'd be turbo broken in Sulky at least because that buff makes him actually more playable in terms of laning phase.
yeah.
And
He just needs a bit of HP, honestly,
yeah, it
though.
just needs a
A
bit of
bit of
HP,
HP.
not 325 movement speed. Like why is he walking around 325? Wait,
Yeah,
no,
I don't know,
basically
bro.
no mobility. You know what I mean? Like how's that balanced?
Yeah,
But it is what it is. So
but yeah, man, that's honestly that's good enough for the champs. But yeah, I think it's I'm good with that. I'll send you some notes overall after the
yeah.
session. I hope you're happy with it. Yeah, I hope it wasn't like a bit boring, but like stuff you already knew, you know, or at least
I
like it's good
mean,
to remind you. But like
no, yeah, obviously, I would say the slow pushing is something that I'm gonna utilize a lot more, um, whenever I can, pretty much, and just go from that. Cause that's true. Like that's something I did notice. Like the way to get like higher CS, especially in lane, like I see people like Gumi using them like do it quite often, is they'll literally have like on the dot like it'll be like 70 CS, at like 7 minutes. You know what I mean, right? And like
yeah,
they're usually always slow pushing. That's the way is how it's done. So I think that's
yeah,
something I need to like just utilize more, and then
yeah,
obviously
for
the
sure.
competitive coaching we had, but yeah, we'll see. Obviously I'll be on the second account. That account's probably gonna for sure surpass my main like fairly quick because it's already D1, so it's only like a few games, and then Masters is no problem. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Okay.
But
All right, man.
yeah,
I hope you learned something, and at least the thought processes you can use them more consistently. Uh, for sure. And yeah, I'll uh, I'll write you the notes. You just PayPal whenever you have time, and
yeah, I can
we'll
do
be
it
good.
directly after.
Yeah, I'll stop the recording now. By the way, is it okay if I